Can Germany stop extremism by banning a far-right party? Some want to try. The subheadline, banning alternative for Germany, a far-right party might seem undemocratic, but Germany's constitution allows such prohibitions to prevent a repeat of Nazism. Beatrix von Storch, you're going to be in the 6 o'clock show with me, with Raymond Ibrahim. Give me a couple of minutes here. This is one of the most outrageous things. The article blew my head up, but more importantly, the article is what the German authorities are doing to, let me repeat, I think you're the largest party in polling now in Germany, or the second largest. It's not like it's a few scattered wingnuts. You represent a vast, sizable amount of the German people, ma'am.
Yes, that's exactly what it's all about. We are polling at number 1, number 2 in all of Germany. We are by far the biggest party in the eastern part of Germany. We're leading there by 10 points or something, even more. And so the only solution they can think of is ban the opposition party to save democracy, which is a joke. And this really gets even more dangerous by the day, because they are losing control, they are losing power, they are losing the consent of the people. They are not willing to shift policy. This is what they should do if they want to fight us, but they can't. And so they are constantly talking about, banning AfD. Well, the Secret Service has come up with some documents and declaring us as far-right extremists. But we have to know that the Secret Service is the government. So the government is writing a paper that the opposition party is extremistic, and this is why they increased the talks about banning us. And as it was shown in the Washington Post article, rightly, that our president, so the number 1, the head of the state, gets into this business. He is from the Social Democratic Party. They are polling around 13, 14, 15% at the very moment. So 10 points behind AfD. And these little guys, they try to solve their political problems by banning us. So that's really anti-democratic. And I think the most important point about all this is, if that's possible in Germany, that's going to be possible everywhere. We cannot point to Turkey, to Russia, to any other totalitarian regime when banning the opposition party is possible in a Western democracy. And this is why we lean out. This is why we think it is very important to raise this issue and to make Americans aware that this is also not in your interest. It is very much against everything what you're fighting for. And when it comes to the national security strategy, which has just been published, I think it's rightfully pointing out to the point that American need strong allies.
Hang on. We're going to get into all that at 6 o'clock. Real quickly, under a minute, just tell me, what is the extremist idea that they hate the most? Because I keep seeing you guys saying, hey, we want to turn sovereignty to the people, to the German people. Why do they call you extremists? Give me 60 seconds on it.
So first, we want to secure our borders. Second, we want to stop Islamization in our country. More precise, we want to roll it back. We do not want to hand over our country to a different culture. And third, we are very much in favor of free speech. We do not think that censorship is a way which should be allowed, and they are pushing censorship always forward. So this is, I would say, these are the 3 points.
Beatrice, at 6 o'clock tonight, we're going to go through all of it. We have Raymond Ibrahim, the author of this great 3-part, 3-book series on Islamism in the West and how we've defeated it. It's an inspiration for Christmas. Beatrice, thank you so much. We'll see you back here at 6 p.m.
Yes, I think this is what we see in the Western world at the very moment. All the Western democracies are under pressure by far left-wing extremists in joint forces with the Islamists or Muslims. And this is a very huge danger for all of us in the Western Hemisphere. And I think it has been very, very carefully and intelligently been addressed in the national security strategy, which we've all been reading for the past few days. And I think this has to be pointed out. We have to stick together and we have to fight this fight together. It's a global fight. It's not only happening in Germany, but of course, for Europe, it's of center interest that AfD keeps on going and that we shift policy here, because if that's without AfD, the policy will always keep on the left-wing track. It will destroy our economy. It will destroy our culture. It will destroy our civilization in the end. And so there's a deep need and a deep desire by the people that policy is going to a different direction. And this is the same case. We see that in France, we see that in UK. And I think we really have to push forward and to work together. This is what we are trying. And I think the MAGA movement is a movement which is very, of course, focused on American interest, but it's also in American interest to have this kind of MAGA movement and their allies in the Western world. And this is why we're trying to work together. I think that's the solution.
Beatrice, you mentioned, and Raymond's on here too, well, I'm going to talk to him about it, the timing of this is perfect because the president, they dropped on Friday or Thursday night, Friday morning, the national security, basically the architecture, which next week they're going to lay out our military strategy around this, but the architecture. And what was shocking is that Europe was on page 29 or 33. It came after hemispheric defense. It came after Asia. It came after the Middle East. In the opening paragraph, it was shocking. It said that you're seeing civilizational erasure. You're seeing the collapse of a civilization. And we're not so sure in 20 or 30 years we'll even be dealing with the kind of freedoms our people have thought of from the Judeo-Christian West for so long. It could be totally different. I mean, it was one of the most brutal paragraphs I've ever seen about people that have been our strategic partners for so long, and really implied that we've got the back and we're looking for new voices to come up and actually help take these countries back and get them back on track. It screamed to me that Alternative for Deutschland is one of the leading parties to do that, because what you're saying essentially is that we want to return sovereignty to the German people, and we want to save our culture, we want to save our civilization, we want to save our society. What say you, ma'am?
I think this is perfectly right. And I think we have to play offense. And I remember Charlie Kirk once saying there are not so many people playing offense. He named you specifically, Steve, playing offense, and some others, few others. And playing offense in Germany is done by AfD. We have to push for a different policy agenda in all major areas. First, migration, economy, the woke ideology. This is all we have to push back. And this goes against the left ideology. And so it's a huge fight. And I think this has also been very clearly addressed in this national security strategy, that we have to keep our force. And this means first of all, we have to keep our culture. We have to keep our faith, and we have to stick together as Christian nations and make sure that we are not losing our identity, and everything else comes next. And we see this decline very, very, very hard in Germany as well. I don't know whether you're aware of those Christmas markets which has been under attack in Brussels. Well, same thing just happened yesterday in Berlin. So, Syrian asylum seekers celebrating the 1-year defeat of Assad in Berlin. They fled Assad, but still they are in Berlin. And we wonder why. Because Assad is gone, so they should be going back to their home countries. But no, they are attacking our Christmas markets. They are celebrating it. It's dangerous. Everyone can see it. And so it's about our identity, and everything else comes afterwards. It's economy, and then it comes to our national security.